Value of the path is the name of my talk. And so, and I'll get into what that value represents and what it means in just a little bit. But I'm not going to talk about your values. So that doesn't mean that they're not important, because without your values, be it honesty, integrity, ethical teamwork, all those things, without that, the other values that I'm going to talk about doesn't matter. So just know that we're just not going to, that's a whole different topic for another day. So the value I do want to talk about is your value in the business world, which is human capital. That's a very technical term that talks about what your value represents to an employer, a business, or your own business as you grow up. Now, if you look at this, this is a little bit old school. This is a blackboard, white chalk on a blackboard. And 30 plus years ago, whenever anybody in this building got in trouble, they'd have to go out the doors and bang the chalk out of the erasers that you wiped on the chalkboard. So is there a blackboard left in the school anymore? Does anybody have a blackboard? Probably not. Okay, so keeping that in mind, have you learned about the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Age? Okay, that's pretty much over, because now we're in the information age, right? Devices, access to information at the swipe of a finger, click of a mouse, or whatever. So you have an advantage, or advantages more so than we ever had just 35, 40 short years ago. So also, in that value and how it relates to business, it's about value add and what you're doing here. So, quick question, and I've got prizes. So, as an average, if you continue your education here at Branson Schools, how many out of 10 of you will go on to college or university or some post-secondary track? Yes. How many out of 10?
I say 8.
Close. 7.
Oh.
Okay, so that's the value-added process. So if you look at the school, in your education lifetime at Branson or wherever you go, let's think about the school as a business. So this is something that I got from an old colleague that's now retired. I shouldn't call him old, actually. A colleague that retired from northeastern part of the state. But think about school as a business. Okay, who is the customer of the school? Who's your customer? Anybody? Shout it out. Students. Close. No. Anybody else?
Parents.
Ooh, that's the way far off one. Anybody else? Who's the customer of the school if the school was a business?
Teachers.
Teachers. Wrong. Third strike. Anybody else? Last guess. Adults don't count.
State.
State? Oh, they fund. Sorry, look out, duck. All right, we're going to run out of time. I'll quit that. The employers. All right, the employers are the customers. All right? Your parents aren't going to like this when I say this, but their only sole responsibility in this whole deal, if school was a business, they're the supplier of the raw materials. That's their job. Okay? Right? That's their job. The school itself, the teachers, the curriculum, the rigor, that's the assembly line. So you're on the assembly line of school, if school was a business. And all these value-add processes are turning you into what you're going to be in that value proposition of what worth you're going to have to a future employer. Now, the same raw materials can make that car, and most of them can make that fighter jet, right? So it's dependent upon what those raw materials are and then the value adds that go with it and how those raw materials are manipulated, because one tops out at maybe 120, the other one tops out at Mach 2, right? So that's that performance of what you get from that value-added process. So, not too long ago, in my value-added process, took a super hard test, studied for 6 months, passed it. But in that study period, there was a lot of stuff about workforce development. And you might be thinking, where's he going with all this? Because he's kind of all over the place. But I'm going to, just rest assured, I'm going to bring you down to a landing here at the end. So in that workforce development curriculum, it talked about first chance institutions and second chance institutions. And I felt, well, that's kind of weird, because to me, first chance sounds better than second chance. If you have to go to the second chance, that implies that you blew the first chance, right? Anybody agree? Chocolate? So first chance institutions are pre-K through 12, 4-year colleges, universities. Second chance institutions are things like your GDE, community college, technical programs after you graduate, or going straight into the workforce. So, by the way, 7 out of 10 of you are going to go on to some post-secondary track. 3 out of 10 of you, if you stay in Branson and the stats hold, are going to go straight into the workforce. Okay? Keep that in mind. But nowadays, second chance institutions, technical programs, plumbers, HVAC, they could be out 20, 22, 23, 24 years old making over 100 grand a year, depending on where you're at. No student debt, 100 grand plus, right? So that was a little bit of a, I thought was kind of strange, because I think it's changed a lot. But just because you didn't capitalize on your first chance doesn't mean you can't be successful on the second chance. So where do you go? Many options. 4-year college, 2-year college, technical programs, straight into the workplace. The options are limitless. But what you do now, even as 7th and 8th graders, build upon that toolbox of experiences and skills that you will carry with you as far as you want to go. So what does it matter? Any direction, what direction, it's all pieces of the puzzle, right? You're a big puzzle that you're working to put together, and you have all these, avenues you want to go. So what's important to you? All right, you're going to hear a lot of people that follow your passion, follow your passion. That's great, you should. But the best way that works out is if you find somebody that's willing to pay you to do what you're passionate about, right? Because in reality, just having your passion may not put food on the table for your family, right? Pay the rent, pay the mortgage, pay the bills. So what's important to you? Family, faith, friends, right? Regardless of all that, the generation ahead of you, we're being told, is more concerned about experiences rather than material things. Why do you think that is? Chocolate? Anyone? Say recession.
Because experiences can last a lifetime, while material things aren't going to last forever.
Exactly. They've experienced, not unlike my previous generation experienced with the Depression, that material things can go away because of the economy. And they don't want any part of that. Right? They've learned that it's more important to enjoy experiences than material things. But skiing back bowls in Banff or Whistler in Canada, kayaking in Iceland or the fjords of Norway. I think it's illegal to touch turtles, by the way, so that's probably not a good representation. But scuba diving off the coast of Maui or the Galapagos Islands. Or my bucket list, 12-week vacation in New Zealand, which I don't know if I'll ever get there. Maybe when my wife and I retire, we might do that. Kids won't get to go. It all costs money. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can sure open the door to a lot of fun, cool experiences. And in today's reality, to earn that money, you got to be productive and have a skill set that somebody is willing to pay you that money. Okay? So, what's your value today? I don't know, you're 7th and 8th graders. Are they even allowed to work at this age? Is that,
8th graders are.
8th graders are? So I encourage you to start building your resume as an 8th grader when you get there. Because all that experience counts, right? Not only if you're going into a post-secondary track, but also as you're going into your work life. Your value today versus tomorrow, in a sense of the business world, right? Not your values as a person. Keep that in mind. So I told you I was going to land you. I've been talking about what your value is to an employer. What would be even better in today's world? I read trade journals, articles all the time about the jobs that exist today will not exist 10 years from now. And there are multiples, tens of hundreds of jobs that don't exist today that will exist 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Why not be a job creator? Be a disruptor. You be the one that creates jobs and pays people and puts them to work. That would be pretty cool, right? You're not just making one paycheck. You're creating 10, 15, 50, 100, 1,000. Probably won't get this quote right, but I'll get close. So Steve Jobs, formerly with Apple, unfortunately deceased, he used to say, it doesn't seem right for us to hire the smartest people and to tell them what to do. We hire the smart people so they can tell us what to do. Right? We're in the information age. This is your ticket. This is your ticket if that's the way you want to go. Right? Dr. Schwaffer talked about choices, mentors. You know, it's all there. Right? There's my 3. Old picture, but I still think it's the cutest one. That's why I keep it up there. But the reason I put it here is to sum it up. Either whichever way you path you go, right? If you go to be a job taker or to be a job creator, if you leave this community, that's fine. But I want you to know one thing. If you take anything from my talk today, it's okay to come back. Right? Bright lights, big city, the allure of Chicago, LA, New York, Miami. This is a great place to be. And you can be successful here. You can have a great career here. You can create jobs here. So keep that in mind as you go on through life. Because it's any path that you choose, your future's bright. It's up to you. Regardless if you're the 7 of the 10 or the 3 of the 10, you can do big things either here or somewhere else. But as an economic developer, I prefer you do them here because we need you, right?